What's going on, guys? It is Shmeet back here with another video. It's been a while since I've uploaded, and I know we've had a lot of games since I've uploaded. We've lost a few. I think we won one. Our West Coast trip has been rough. We lost the Clippers in a narrow game, and we lost in overtime to the Lakers. I didn't have enough, watch time in both those games to really form an opinion about it. As in the Lakers game, I just watched most of the first half where I saw LaMelo go off. Miles Bridges had a few good ones. Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier kind of led our team. I don't really know what happened in the second half and the overtime, but what I do know is that those are the kind of games that we should win. Is versus a depleted Lakers team who doesn't have LeBron or Ariza. Well, mostly LeBron. You know what I'm saying. Those are the games we should win. But regardless, today's video is about what we have learned through about 10 or 11 games into the NBA season. It's a good benchmark to form an opinion on every NBA team that you've seen so far, all 30. Whether it's the Pistons who suck right now. Well, that's not really a surprise. They're 1-8, but you guys know what I'm saying. It's a benchmark. It's about 10% through, well, more than 10% because there's only 82 games. It's about 15% or so, throughout the NBA season. So I am going to talk about maybe 10 teams because I feel like, the Thunder, the Pelicans, who, obviously miss Zion right now. These bottom teams don't really need any, talk time, I guess, because they're just so bad that it's not even worth it. So first of all, I'm going to start with the Hornets because that's what I make most of my videos about. My thing on what we have learned is that Miles Bridges could be a number one option. Whether that is just sustainable, throughout a whole NBA season is, to be concerned. But through the first 10 games of our season, he has been our number one option. I know Terry Rozier went off for about 29 or 32 points, but over the course of these 10 games, Miles Bridges has been our best player consistently in these 10 games, although his first game of the NBA season he only had 14 points, and I think every game since he's had more than 20. So is that sustainable through an entire season, into next season, into the next season? If this keeps going and he's our number one option, two things are going to come about. He's going to get a near max contract because the stats he's putting up right now is max worthy. And second of all, our money situation is going to be tight because LaMelo is going to need that max when his rookie contract is up. PJ Washington needs a contract. Terry Rozier is an unrestricted free agent this offseason. So it's going to get tough in money if Miles Bridges continues his journey into stardom. Next, we have the Warriors, who is in this thumbnail. Kind of a good transition. I didn't really do it at the start of the video, but Steph Curry just went off for 50. People look at stat lines and they're like, oh, that guy had 30, and I guess 30 in the NBA is like a pretty average thing, but 50 points is a lot. That is half of 100, where Wilt Chamberlain is the guy you think about when he scores 100 points, but you guys know what I'm saying. Steph Curry's on a rampage, MVP candidate, just like last season where he finished top 3. There was obviously Giannis, Jokic, and Steph Curry up there. But does he win MVP? His team's 9-1 through the first 10 games. And what I have learned, nobody really learns that Steph Curry is a good player because that's like everybody knows that. You've known it for the last 8-9 years. What I do know is that the supporting cast plays a huge role in winning games in the NBA. And it really says a lot about the Lakers, who we'll get to, and their struggles so far without LeBron, that a supporting cast can win you games. Damian Lee averaging 14 points per game this season is insane. And that just shows you, Juan Toscano-Anderson, his last game had a couple big shots. Who else has been? Jordan Poole. I say Steph Curry is a MVP candidate, but some of these games he's kind of taken the backseat to Jordan Poole. And that's why I think Steph Curry's value is so high, because some of these superstars, all-star players can't take the backseat. Their ego is too high. Steph Curry doesn't have that problem. Jordan Poole was a G Leaguer 2 seasons ago. and now he is, Steph Curry is giving the nod to, which is crazy. And Jordan Poole had a couple 25-point games. He's been super good so far. So that's what I know, is that the Warriors supporting cast could win them a lot of games this season. But also another thing about the Warriors, they need a center just like us, which makes me think if Miles Turner is going to be traded because the Pacers suck. The Bulls are solid. I don't really know what their season is, but what I did learn is that I realized that with all these free agent acquisitions and obviously the sign and trade with DeMar DeRozan, that someone would have to take the backseat, because you look at the Warriors run with KD and obviously the players that are still there. Steph Curry had to take a back seat some games. KD took the back seat some games. Clay has nearly taken the back seat in throughout his career. I knew someone would have to take the back seat on this Bulls team, and it looks to be Vucevic. His stats are down. His defense is worse than it was in Orlando, and it's just really weird to see Vucevic kind of struggle on both ends of the floor through the first 10 or 11 games or whatever. That's what I know about the Bulls, although with that saying, they are still 7-3, a team to be reckoned with come playoff time. The Bucks, I put two things down on my little list, injuries and COVID, really. That's why they're 4-6. I believe if Giannis and Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis were all there through all those games together, I think they would be, nearly undefeated, top of the East. That's all I have to say about the Bucks, because let's face it, they're still going to be there come playoff time, and it's probably good to give this COVID, to get COVID right now. Although it's never good to get COVID right now instead of come playoff time. So next team I have is the Raptors. Someone who I was not high on at all in the draft was Scotty Barnes, and he's proven me wrong, just like Franz Wagner of the Magic. Scotty Barnes, he didn't even start a game in college, which is crazy, and now he's one of the most surprising, well, to some people not that surprising, but to me he's one of the most surprising rookies, because I didn't think he'd come in and have an instant impact like a guy like Chris Duarte of the Pacers. He's come in and been solid. You saw the KD quote from a couple nights ago when Scotty Barnes held him to 41 points, but he's having a great season so far, and he's been really surprising. So that's what I know about the Raptors. Also, Fred VanVleet has been killing it this season, very quiet. You never really hear about the Raptors after Kawhi went. Yeah, Cavaliers, all I put right here is somehow it is working. Let me look at their record so far this season. They are 5th in the East right now. It's 7-4. And a part of that is that some of these games, their big man lineups just overpower. Like I know when they were playing the Hornets, they would pull out Larry Marketing, Jared Allen, and Evan Mobley, and there's just nothing we could do on the floor, and it was just hard to function and rebound and somehow get an offensive rebound, and obviously they would get all the defensive rebounds. You guys know what I'm saying. Somehow this is working. Colin Sexton, although he just got injured, was decent. We'll see if Darius Garland can really come onto his own when Colin Sexton is out with a torn meniscus. But that's what I know about the Cavs. Mavericks, they are the most quiet 7-3 team I've ever seen. Nobody's talking about them. And I know Luka's been insane. He won him a game versus the Celtics. Porzingis has been solid so far this season as well. They are super quiet. You don't hear about their role players. Luka was the media darling along with LaMelo Ball last season. You don't hear about Luka as much this season, but he's still putting up the same stats. They're 7-3. We'll see what they are, through 20 games. Next team I have is the Grizzlies. Just won a game in overtime versus the T-Wolves, which we'll get to in a minute. But all I have here is that Ja Morant is looking like an all-star so far through these 10 games. Next team, Lakers. What I put here is that they are really, really, really missing Caruso. He was their glue guy off the bench. He was, the effort guy. Who's the person that's supposed to give him effort? Malik Monk has kind of an ego off the bench. You think Carmelo's going to give you effort and go for diving loose balls maybe once every 3 games when his knees don't hurt. LeBron, I mean, every time he gets stripped on offense, he just waits till they get scored on defense. Anthony Davis is a hard worker, but he's what do they call him? Like the thing where they say day to day, it's like day to Davis, Anthony Day to Davis. He's out every other game. And who's going to be that glue guy, that energy guy? Like, I don't think they have that. I really don't. And Tillin Horn Tucker, when he comes back, maybe he can fulfill that role. But right now, they're really missing Caruso. And Westbrook is... It's hard to gauge Westbrook because you see his counting stats, and they're so good. I'm not going to pull them up, but I know they're pretty insane, probably near triple-double. But whenever you watch a game like I was watching in the first half versus the Hornets, he's not good. He turns it over. He makes bad shots. He's not a threat from deep. He's all these things, which makes me think, what's his actual value in the NBA today? Because I would take so many players above Westbrook right now. I'd take LaMelo. Miles Bridges maybe. There's a ton of players I would take over Westbrook. Going on to the Timberwolves, last team I have on here. They started out the season super strong, and I was like, okay, I can get it behind a good Timberwolves team because they've been so bad for so long. Jimmy Butler led them to the playoffs for the first time in like 20 years, and they haven't been back since, and they have lost 5 straight since then. So, the saying, going 0 to 100, they've went 100 to 0 real quick. So that's the 10 teams I have here. If you like this content, subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys later.